All right. The live stream is preparing. And we are live,
All right.
which is really weird. There we go. All right. Well, all our people on YouTube, good morning. Cam, good morning,
Aloha.
sir.
How are you?
Doing well. Uh, been a couple of weeks here. I've been sick for the last week. I was hoping to record last Tuesday, but I had about half a voice, and you said you've got a little bit something right now too.
Yeah, I was sick last week too. So when you sent that message, I was happy to oblige.
All right. And we also had a funeral yesterday for our pastor, or our former pastor at our church, who pastored the church for 40 plus years. Passed away. He had had Parkinson's for the last 13 years, and just
Oh man.
eventually,
Yeah.
eventually, it took him. But great funeral yesterday. I mean, it's a weird thing in the church to be able to sit down and say, hey, that was actually a really good funeral. That was
hmm
that was good. Um, there aren't many men that I know that exemplify the life of Christ as he did. So
hmm
it was a fitting tribute to his life. So
That's good. It's
yeah,
definitely better than the opposite, which,
correct.
can
What are
get
you going
more
to be
time.
remembered for? I think that's the question we should all grapple with. So
Yeah.
all right. Anyway, on happier notes, um, we did get some announcements this morning.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tim Cook sent out a tweet yesterday that said there's something in the air yesterday. Right. So he's not very creative. But this
You
morning,
think he
the
made that
news
tweet up himself? I guarantee you he was fed that by
probably,
Apple's marketing
yeah.
department.
So it was either yesterday or today. I think it was this morning that they announced the new iPad Air and a new iPad. And so yeah, we can talk about that.
Well, and the
Um,
iPad Air is built for Apple Intelligence.
oh, as everything is now.
Well, not the new iPad. It doesn't
Oh,
say that.
the new iPad doesn't say that.
Nope. Because
Oh, it
it
only has
doesn't
an
have
A16.
A16. Yeah, it doesn't have an M chip in it. So
Well, I think the
I can't do
A18
it, Captain. I don't have the power.
I think the A18 will do Apple Intelligence. But
Run.
I think Apple kind of wants people outside of education to forget that this one exists. So, because the iPad Air is where it's at, unless you need a
Yeah.
Pro. So the
These things
new
are just
iPad Air has the M3 chip,
yes.
now supercharged by the M3 chip. So comes in an 11-inch and a 13-inch, as it did before. So I'm intrigued. So
Yeah, base model is 599. So that's the 11-inch with the least amount of storage and
yep,
Wi-Fi only.
couple $100 to move up to the 13-inch. I think
hmm
it was $799 to start on the 13-inch.
Yeah.
Um, and we were saying before we went on the air this morning that um I am tempted by a 13-inch, and I didn't really think that this was going to be a big deal until I thought about, well, with the shift in my priorities this last year, I stepped down from my position at the church. I'm not using my MacBook quite so much. That the a 13-inch iPad might be exactly what I want for doing Bible studies, doing different things like that. It give me more screen real estate. I love my iPad Mini for a lot of things, for reading and different things like that.
Uh,
But the um the real estate that I would get on a iPad Air would be so much nicer for, having the Bible and another book, side by side on the screen, and having plenty of room for everything. Being able to go into Logos and split up like a 2 or 3 pane view on the screen with scripture and with a passage guide and with maybe a passage list or something like that, like having different things tiled on the screen and having plenty
uh.
of real estate for all of that, I think would be really intriguing to me.
Well, and wouldn't a 13-inch iPad Air in landscape essentially be pretty close in size to two iPad minis in portrait stuck together, roughly speaking?
Pretty close. Hold on a second. So sitting next to me on my desk, I have my 13-inch M2 MacBook Pro or M2 MacBook Air, and I have my iPad Mini.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, it's
you're
pretty darn close.
pretty much doubling your real estate,
Yeah. So
which is significant, I'd say, in terms of what you're gaining.
yeah. Um, and notice that I have an orange cover on my
Shock of all
big
shocks, Mitch.
surprise, right? Um, so I was looking. I actually looked through all the announcements from the last week to see if there's any orange products that popped up because we do have a predictees entry for that. So
Oh
I do not
man,
have a point there though yet. So,
that's too funny.
but we do have some point movement on the predictees.
Yeah. Let's
So
get to it. All right, here we go.
so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here so all the people can see it here. I'm going to go ahead and give you permission to share on the screen as well. Oh, I didn't
Oh
start
boy.
that. So hold on a
Yeah,
second.
I'm gonna rickroll the podcast, Mitch.
All
Never
right.
gonna give you
I don't know what any of that was about. Anyway,
Hmm?
um, I know what a Rickroll is. I'm just
You
giving you crap.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Mitch, time out. We're gonna have a very important conversation on the internet.
All right. So here is the annual predictees for 2025. And so I've got 2 points already. The new iPad Air 13-inch was announced. So I've got that point. And the new iPhone SE, or what we were agreeing would be the cheaper phone,
Yep.
um, is has a notch. Now we did this, I think, pseudo intentionally, or close a little bit intentionally,
Well, yeah,
where you also picked in the same round that it would have the dynamic island.
yeah, I can't remember what order we picked those in. I think
I
I said mine first,
I
and
think you
then you
did.
and then you
Yeah.
went with I'm gonna take the notch. Like you went with I went with the over, you went with the under, and you were correct.
And quite honestly, I had already that was on my list to pick that it had a notch. So when you picked that it
No,
had
so it
was going
wasn't
to
a
have a
hundred
dynamic
percent out of
island.
it wasn't 100%
Yeah,
out of spite then.
no, it wasn't. I was already thinking about it.
All
And
right,
so
fair enough.
you just gave me a convenient place to put it. So
Yeah, that's well played.
um the one bit of contention that I have here, and I'm wondering how to handle this. Your first pick was the new Magic keyboards for an iPad will be released. Now there was a new keyboard folio that was released for the new iPad Air, but in the phrasing here it says keyboards plural.
For an iPad, for a singular. So that's just we're mixing tenses here, right?
Yeah.
Plural
So
keyboards, singular iPad. So
mhm.
I think the spirit of the pick was a new Magic Keyboard, and I just put an S on the end because I'm a dummy.
Yeah. And I'm completely willing to give you this point. I just thought that we should have a conversation about it,
Yeah.
just in case you said, "Oh no, I don't get a point for that," then I wouldn't give you a point.
Well, I mean,
So
I'm never going to vote against myself unless it's blatantly obvious that I'm wrong.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Like
So
I
all right.
wouldn't argue for the dynamic island. Like that is that is done and sealed, and you get that point, and I get zero.
So I just realized this. This is actually kind of funny that all of our iPhone and iPad picks have now been scored, and it is March.
Yeah, March
So
4th.
yeah, so there's not going to
Well,
be much to.
oh, hold up. I get another point. iPad Air update will include the M3 chip, baby. My third
Where
wildcard pick. Third wildcard pick. iPad Air
third
update
one.
includes the
Okay,
M3
all right.
chip. It's a tie
Yeah,
ball game, folks. Let's go.
it's all tied up. See, I
Yeah,
have
so
no
all of
doubt
our
that you're going to
you're
beat me
correct.
this
All of
year.
our sorry.
I have no doubt that you're going to beat me this year because I got some pretty crazy picks in here. So
But yeah, to your point, all of our picks that were in the iPhone and iPad category have already been scored, but we do have some iPhone and iPad related picks in our wild card or Buck wild card pick section.
mhm.
So,
Mm.
looking at I'm looking at some of these, and I don't think I'm as confident as I was when I made them.
Well, we'll
Time will
we will
tell.
find out. Time will tell.
Now, it is a tie
Absolutely.
game, but you have yet to get one incorrect. So technically, it's like in sports when you're tied in the rankings, but one team has a game in hand. You've got a pick in hand, so this could still swing.
Yeah. Well, you did see some of my other picks though, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, Rich,
There's
hope
some Hail
abounds.
Marys in there.
Until the red and green have fully been applied to our list, hope abounds.
All right.
Because you never
Fair
know.
enough. Hmm. Is there anything else really to talk about these iPads? I don't think there's anything like huge. I mean, they have there's a bunch of stuff listed for them. You know, the Apple Pencil Pros working with the iPad Air. They've got the new keyboard case for it, or new keyboard folio, the Magic Keyboard.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, they did a chip rev for the base model iPad. Um, some more storage. They do have a little bit better storage options for the base model iPad. So,
And it comes
and
in
I think
yellow, which I'm very fond
yes,
of.
yeah, I could see you with a yellow iPad. All right.
All right, sorry, the recycling truck just drove by. I was on mute there for a second.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't hear a thing. So your mic is very good at isolating your voice.
Ooh, well, yeah, I mean, it's expensive, so I would hope that would be the case.
All right. Well, I mean, we have we haven't talked about the iPhone 16e either. Not that there's a whole lot to say that a million other podcasts haven't talked about already,
Yeah, but I don't listen to those,
but
so.
yeah.
iPhone 16e. Oh, it's got the action button too. Interesting.
I'm I'm uh I'm really fighting the urge to make a joke that was made on Connected.
Well, I didn't listen to it, so I will be
Yeah.
hearing it for the first time.
Well, they kept referring to it as the iPhone 16e because
Of course they would.
yeah.
And let me guess, that was Steven or Mike that made that joke, and not Federico.
Oh, I think Federico might have started it, and the rest of them just kind of piled on. I don't really recall.
Gotcha. Oh man, interesting. Starts at 599, which is pretty impressive for
It's
an
not
iPhone.
bad. Yeah. I mean, there's an argument that they are not positioning this phone as a cheap phone.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not, it's not a burner, but for
Yeah.
an iPhone with Face ID, with the action button, with the modern design, and 599, like all of this stuff is expensive. It's all relative, right? Like I was even looking at those iPad Airs and I was like, golly, you can spend a lot of money on one of those.
Hmm.
And now trying to remember how much I spent on my iPad Pro, and I was like, I don't want to remember how much I spent on that because I'm sure it was more than I should have. Um, but yeah, you mean the most you can spend on one, it looks like, is if you get 512 storage is 899.
Hmm.
So even a maxed out one is still cheaper than a base iPhone Pro or iPhone 16 even, I think. Oh, I'm curious. Hold on. We have gone down a rabbit hole here, and
Now,
I'm
there's
okay with
something
it.
else to point out as well. Probably one of the most interesting parts of the iPhone 16e is the new C1 chip. It's their new cellular modem.
Ooh,
So this is an Apple design modem. Um, and there's a lot of talk, and I haven't done the research myself, but there's a lot of talk that the C1 will just be in this model as kind of a test um, to see how it works. The C2 will start to branch into some of the mainline iPhone models. The C3 will actually bring Qualcomm level performance in a chip to the iPhones. And then there's speculation out there that if they're building their own cellular modems, that they might start putting them in other places that they don't currently put cellular modems, like say a MacBook. Um, so
yeah. I mean, that really is the next shoe to drop for the Mac is cellular connectivity, right?
mhm.
So I'm looking at the pricing just because interested. The maxed out 16 uh, is 899. The base model for an iPhone 16, not the Plus, just the regular one, is 799 at
Yeah.
128 gigs. So it's essentially if you want to, it's 200 bucks. The 16e is 200 bucks cheaper than the iPhone, which is then 200 bucks cheaper than the iPhone Pro. So it's a $400 range between the cheapest and the most expensive. And each tier, it's still that gap. Now you go to Plus or Max, and that obviously adds more to that. But if you're looking for the same size phone, it's
Mhm.
200 bucks from the E to the regular, and then 200 more from the regular to the Pro. Which I don't know about you, sounds like they planned it that way on purpose.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of talk about what that E stands for. Um, you know, economy, the economy version. A lot of people, and I think where I lean towards is that it's the enterprise version. So a lot of these companies that are buying iPhones for their people, like maybe not C class, um, their CEOs and their CFOs and such like that, but maybe when they're bulk buying these iPhones, that this is the one that will be given to most of their people. It only comes in white and black,
Yeah.
so it's a very basic phone.
I'm
So
curious what the
hold on just a second, I'll be right back.
all right, so I'm looking at I want to see the camera specs for this thing. And that's the deepest, darkest secret I'll never tell anyone ever again.
No. So I have my closet over here and there's a bag of bird food in the closet because my bird feeder is just out the end of our hallway here. So and my cat got into the closet and I heard that bag rustling. So I figured I better go attend to that. I don't need her spreading bird feed all over the inside of my closet. It's wrapped up and everything, but cats have claws. So all right.
Trying to see what the camera specs are in this thing. God, this web page is so long.
Oh, I hate these. I hate when they do this. It's a 48 megapixel camera, or it says super high res 48 megapixel photos. Where I'm looking here.
Redesigned 48 megapixel fusion camera has the capabilities of 2 cameras in one. Oh, it's got a telephoto lens in it too, so it really is 4K and Dolby Vision. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty darn good.
I mean, this is a camera that's rumored to be planned for the iPhone Air or the iPhone 17 Air that's being rumored right now.
Why do they need another iPhone? They already have 3. Well, technically 5 if you add in the Max and the Plus. Why
Well,
do we?
the thought is they're going to replace some of the current models with new models.
So do
So
like 16 or 17E, 17 Air, 17 Pro, just like the Max.
so yeah, so what I'm thinking, what I would suspect is going to happen, or maybe it's just what I would like to see happen, is the
Hopeful
16E.
conjecture.
Yeah. So the 16E, and then this fall they'll release the 17 Air, the 17 Pro, and the 17 Ultra. And so you'll get rid of. I'd love to see them get rid of the Pro Max name because it's such an awful name. If they switch that to the Ultra, that would be I think a better branding.
And you know what that
And
means? The
then
Ultra is going to be even more expensive than the Pro is now. Like they're not going to make the Pro cheaper. They're just going to make the Ultra more expensive.
I think the Ultra will be the Pro Max. It'll be the larger. I don't think it's going to be anything vastly different than what the Pro Max is right now.
Oh, so not a
But
new line, just the biggest
no,
version of the. Okay.
just changing the branding. So because I like that branding better than having an iPhone and then an iPhone Plus and then iPhone Pro Max, like having two lines with two different sizes each. I like the idea of them taking the like having an iPhone and then or like the regular iPhone 17, an iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Ultra, and branding it like that.
When are they going to drop the number?
Yeah, there's been some talk about that. I don't. They haven't done it yet, so this might be the time to do it. Because I don't know that they're going to come out with an iPhone 17e. So maybe just having an iPhone E, iPhone Air, iPhone Pro. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you just when people are like, "Oh, what phone do you have?" You're like, "Oh, I've got the 2017 iPhone Air," right?
Yeah.
And then in 2019, you're like, "Yeah, I still have the 2017 iPhone Air because they're freaking expensive." I really hope they don't be like, "Oh, and now the latest iPhone Monterey."
Mhm.
No,
There we
thank
go.
you.
We need a naming
Yes.
a naming
The
plan for these phones.
iPhone San Luis Obispo.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah, that's still my favorite.
Yeah.
Rancho Cucamonga.
I would sign a petition to have the new operating system named Rancho Cucamonga.
I mean, there's some wild. I mean, I get it's just Spanish. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even know what Cucamonga means. I'm looking it up because now I need to know because it's probably not going to be as fun as I want it to be.
Uh, I gave you permission to share your screen, so feel free.
Oh, is it not even Spanish? It says Cucamonga is a variation of a Tongva term that means sandy place.
Hmm.
Over time, history and English influence led to a change in the spelling because it was Kukamonga. Rancho is a Spanish term meaning for hut or camp. So essentially, beach hut, beach camp. Mac OS beach camp. Let's go. There you go, crack marketing team. You're
Yep.
welcome.
We already solved your problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Shall we talk television?
It might be time to shift gears and talk about a little bit of Silo.
I uh
So,
I finally watched it. The
yep,
second
I've
season,
been
that is.
patiently waiting. Mhm.
Yes.
So, you and I both enjoyed this show.
Correct.
Yeah. Second season better or worse than the first season?
Um, better in that there was less unraveling the mystery of the outside world and more character development, plot development, new characters, more action, um, political drama, just there was since we were already the world was already established, which is what any first season is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Even in show like The Acolyte, which we panned hard, at least by the end of the first season, you're like, okay, now we can actually get to something, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so season one to me was, we're slowly revealing the world and the people and the characters and getting to understand what life is like in Silo. And then season two is just like now we're in it and now we're just doing way more stuff. There's a lot more going on and we're able to do that because we're comfortable with the world and we know the people, we know the players, we know the structures, all that sort of stuff. So from that like from the plot and show writing standpoint, yeah, I thought they did a really good job of just dropping us right into the start of the season and then it was just go from there. So I
Hmm.
enjoyed that aspect of it a lot.
Yeah. And I would characterize the first season felt a lot like Lost, where it's one secret after another, like
Uh-huh.
you know, kind of peeling back the layers of the onion to kind of
Uh-huh.
understand what's going on. There's still some of that in season two. But season two to me felt a lot more like Battlestar Galactica, that it was
Which is
political
high
intrigue.
praise.
Yeah, political intrigue. There was even some kind of conspiracy to manipulate what was going on with the people from the down deep, from engineering, as far as what they were doing, and they were falling right into it. And so it was like you kind of get this feel for um like they're just going to fall right back into what so many other silos have had happened, where and we get that a little bit from what's her name, darn it, why am I, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Dang it.
The main lady, Juliet.
Yeah,
Juliet.
Juliet, thank you. I can remember that it was a J because
Yeah.
the but yeah, Juliet, from her storyline in the other silo this season, you start to see like this is how it happened.
Mhm.
This is how the silo got destroyed. And now you start to see that paralleled happening in the original silo, where engineering is rising up and rebelling against the rest of the elite, essentially, and how they really kind of made you think that this story was definitely going this one way, and then kind of pulled the carpet out from under you towards the end. So,
Well, yeah, and in line with that, when the season started, it was in, this dark thing, and this group of people were rebelling, and they launched, and I was like, oh, this is the story of like the rebellion that got squashed in Juliet's silo. Oh, how
mhm,
wrong was I? It was the story of the
mhm.
silo that she winds up in, which I thought was pretty fun. Um, but yeah, and then I mean, there's just so you get uh, Juliet's whole story with Steve Zahn's character, who I'm forgetting his name. Let me find it real quick. But he's do you know what they referred to the place where he's hiding as? And it's the place where Tim Robbins' character takes Lucas Kyle when he makes him his new understudy.
I mean,
Like,
I don't remember them calling it anything other than IT, but
well, yeah, no, it had a name, and I
or the
can't remember what
vault.
it's called. Maybe,
I don't remember. I watched it a while ago, and so I'm not coming to it quite as fresh as you are.
yeah. But anyways, I just that whole area in there was wild. It was like the
Hmm.
library and all the information and like literally what Apple Intelligence wants to be. Hey, show me this, and it
Yeah.
shows up on the
Hmm.
the clear iPad looking thing. Um, and it's just like how wild that they have that level of technology hidden away that no one knows about. And then you look at how everyone else is living in the silo, and it's just like, you know, 1940s urban centers,
Yeah.
with like computers from the early 80s. Uh, and I just thought it made me like laugh because I was like, they're obviously doing that for a reason. I don't know what it is. And then when you get when Sims takes his, down all the way
Hmm.
to whatever that thing is, and that voice talks and is like it picks his wife over him, and it's like, holy, who are those people? Are
Yeah.
they like silo number one, and are they in control of all the silos? Like, yeah, it just I liked that they progressed the story. We met new people, new things happened, action happened, but we're still left with questions going into the next season. And they're bigger
Hmm.
questions, and questions with potentially lots of different answers for those of us that haven't
Yeah.
read the books. And who knows if they're going to stick to what the books say. I don't even know how close they are to the books right now because I haven't read them yet.
Yeah.
I usually like to read the books after I've watched the show all the way through,
Hmm.
because it helps me, oh, well, yeah, okay, Juliet looks like this, and Sims looks like that, and Bernard looks like that, and this is what Um, so, for example, well, no, we'll keep talking about this show, I guess, and there's another show I want to talk to you about if we have time. So, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, that disembodied voice in that weird place down low.
Well, I think even from the first season, they were hinting at the idea that that IT is
Hmm.
not actually who's in charge. That IT is the figurehead to the silo, but that they work for someone else, and that there's a higher power over all the silos.
Right.
So,
And in season one, it's Judicial is who everyone thinks runs the show. Judge, I forget her name.
mhm.
Uh,
Meadows,
Meadows, thank you.
yeah,
Um, but it's really IT that runs the silo behind the scenes, and Judge Meadows is just a puppet head or a figurehead.
hmm,
And then, yes, you're correct. When Bernard has that key and says, "You're going to get everybody, you're going to get us all killed." That's when we start to realize, oh, okay, he may be or IT may be secretly in charge of this silo. But you're absolutely right. There's more than meets the eye, as there always is in the silo.
yeah,
So it would be. I wonder if we're gonna get to see that, like, see what's going on from whoever that voice was, like from their perspective next season, or if maybe that's like the big reveal at the end of season 3. Because I saw that they're filming seasons 3 and 4 back to back.
Yeah.
They're just doing them straight through. Uh, so I'm wondering if like that's the big reveal at the end of season 3, and then season 4 is like the wide open world. I don't know, but it was entertaining. It was good. The whole like people in the down deep trying to start the rebellion and then getting framed for
Yeah.
a certain character's death. Um, I don't know why I'm protecting spoilers if someone's still listening and hasn't watched it at this point. That's on you. Uh,
Yeah.
to, Bernard kills Judge Meadows, who turns out he's secretly been in love with the whole time, but he kills her anyways. Frames it
Yeah.
on a couple people from the down deep. Chaos ensues. They put a barricade. There's this whole like chase scene on the stairs and mob mentality and chaos, and they shut the silo down at one point. I mean, there's a lot we haven't talked about, but it's all good. It's good stuff.
hmm And a lot of what we haven't talked about is Juliet's side of the story too.
Yeah.
And her trying to find a way out of that silo, be able to get a suit so she could go back and warn the people, in her original silo, that she's still alive, and that, now with all the knowledge that she knows now about how everybody in the silo is being manipulated to destroy the silo. So
Yeah, and so she
yeah.
meets Steve Zahn's character, and they have some very weird, uncomfortable conversations because been he's been self-isolating because there's some dead bodies that you eventually find out who are there. Then that you realize there's a couple other survivors in that silo.
hmm
Um,
Solo is the name that he
Thank you.
introduces
Yeah,
himself
yeah, there
as.
we go.
Yeah.
No Star Wars jokes.
No.
But yeah, I mean, that's all, and like the stuff that she does to try to get back to save everybody is nothing short of heroic in a sense of like her like she builds a scuba suit essentially,
hmm
and for people that don't swim, she just dives under there and is trusting this guy to keep her alive. um yeah, I remember I saw an interview with her. It was like a movie premiere, Mission Impossible, I think, the latest one. And the reporter, of course, asked her about Mission Impossible, and then it was like, what can you tell us about Silo season 2? And she goes, um, it's wet. It's very, very wet. And I was like, okay, that doesn't, I mean, yeah, but as I was watching, I was like, yeah, she does spend a lot of time in the water for someone who
Yeah.
doesn't, know what swimming is. So,
hmm
but yeah, I recommend the show for sure.
Yeah, it was fun. And I mentioned earlier, really enjoying Severance, season 2. It's been beautiful, in a lot of ways. It's been weird. Um, and I think it's building to something that's going to be interesting. The storyline has been a little bit, um, messy up to this point. Like, it hasn't been very focused, but I think it's going to focus as it gets towards the end of the season, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going with this. So
And this is
it's been
season
good.
2, right?
Season 2.
Do you know when it ends? Like how many more episodes they got?
I don't.
Because that probably will be my next um foray into new TV shows.
Well, let me look it up on Call Sheet by a friend of the show, um, Casey Liss. He doesn't know us.
KC, list do.
10 episodes long. And let's see. I don't recognize any of these show titles. So the one that's going to be released here this Friday, Sweet Vitriol, is episode 8, and there's 2 more episodes after this, so 3 more episodes left.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to start digging into that one. Um, have have we talked about slow horses before? I feel like I've mentioned it.
Um, I don't. We haven't really talked about it a lot because I haven't watched much of it. I've only
Okay.
seen the first season. So, and there are 4 seasons in now.
Yeah. And I just finished season 4 like a week or two ago.
Hmm.
And then I realized I had known, but then forgotten. And then as I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, this is based on a series of books. Like each season is
Hmm.
one of the books. There's 6 books out, and so I'm assuming they're going to do 6 seasons. Um, and so I got the first book. That's the first season, and I finished the first book last night. It's like 330 some pages, and I think I read it in like 5 days. It was just like I just couldn't put it down. Um, and the storyline in the TV show and the book, like there's n- not many differences. Like they did a really good job of keeping the TV show as close to the book as they could. They did change a few things here and there, but I think the changes they made sense for TV.
Hmm.
Um, but anyways, I love the show. I think it's great. Gary Oldman on that show is so funny and so crass and so gross and disgusting. But he's just he plays it like I mean that's the character, right? Jackson Lamb is an absolute drunken slob who is just doesn't care about humans. Like he gives that air, but he really does. But like he's like the dad that doesn't know how to tell you he loves you or cares about you, except just to be hard on you and tell you everything that you do wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Um, Generally with some f bombs. Um, but I mean, season 3 and 4 were really good. Um, and as I was reading through book 1, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's stuff that I had forgotten about from season 1 that I'm hoping is going to come back around towards the end. But anyways, if you're into uh, TV or movies about spies, spy thrillers, mystery, mixed in with a good heap of very dry British sarcasm, um, then it might be a good show for you to check out. I really enjoyed it. I blitzed through seasons 3 and 4 because they're only like they're I mean they're not very long seasons. Um, but and I like the River Cartwright character. He's the main character. Um, Played by a guy named Jack Loudon. Um, and I mean, it's got Kristen Scott Thomas, it's got Gary Oldman, it's got Jonathan Pryce as River's grandpa. So like some very well known, well established British actors, and then a bunch of other folks that are newer. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you're into that sort of stuff, then this will tickle your fancy. If you're not, don't bother. But the book was really good.
Yeah.
Uh, I have the second book on hold at the library, and I'm waiting for whoever has it to hurry up.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about Apple TV shows, um, oh, why did my brain just fart? My wife and I just saw
Ew.
the Gorge.
Was that any good?
I would maybe give it 3 out of 5 stars
Okay.
if I had to give it a 5 star rating.
So
I'd
it's
say about
average.
3, 2.5 to 3. Yeah, it was entertaining. Um, I'm was pretty sure that I was going to go to bed with some serious nightmares about spiders,
Oh, fun.
but but I didn't, so we're okay. Um,
So that's the big bad that comes out of the gorge is a giant
No,
spider. Oh,
no, but I have a spider problem. So, but yeah, was that, well, there was another show in here that I wanted to mention. Oh, Mythic Quest is
oh, it's
back.
so funny, Mitch. Oh my
I love
gosh, I
that
love
show.
that show. I uh I just finished the second season.
Yeah,
Oh my, it's so well done
it is.
in
It really
every
is.
regard.
Yeah. Have you gotten to the pandemic episode yet where they
Yeah,
did the
that's the
is
very
that
end
the
of the
end of
first
season
season.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah. Just brilliant.
yeah,
Such a good show.
yeah. It's and like what I like about it is like obviously Rob McElhenney's one of the main characters and he's one of the creators and producers of the show. Him, Charlie Day, who is from Always Sunny, and then there's and I feel terrible. I'm forgetting the third producer. I'm forgetting her name. Emma starts with a G. Anyways, it's just so well done. And what I personally enjoy about it is the other actors. I've seen two of them, and that would be C.W. Longbottom, the old guy, F. Murray Abraham. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you any of the other movies. I just recognize his face because he's been around forever. And then Brad, the guy that's head of finance,
Yeah.
who's
Hmm.
just a terrible human. I recognize him. Again, I couldn't tell you what I've seen him in, but
I
literally
love
every.
him. Like
Oh
he's
my,
so good. He was in Community. Um,
Thank you. Okay, there
yeah.
we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's in something else right now. Um, all that show with oh, why am I forgetting the name of that show? Um, with Dennis Leary. It's a sitcom that's out right now.
Oh, is that the
Can't
one where
think of
like
the
they're in
name
the
of it.
army?
They're in the army, but they're
Yeah.
over in Denmark, and and you bring this like old crotchety like military guy into a base of a bunch of like fruity, fluffy, like nothing ever happens there. It's just a service base, so nobody cares, and he's just and then you find out that his daughter was running it prior to him getting there. So there's tension there, and yeah, it's very entertaining. So,
Yeah. But
but
yeah, other than those two, like the actress that plays Poppy, who's Rob's co-star, never seen her before.
oh,
She's
and she's brilliant.
incredible. She's
Yeah.
so good. I mean, literally, like she can be super mad and screaming. She can be cheesy and funny, or like literally make you cry,
Hmm.
depending on. And then the rest of the cast is just so good. Like the guy that plays David, the one who thinks he's in charge and is just like
Yeah.
so painfully awkward and stuff. It's so and like even the
his
stuff that they
his character his character gets better as the seasons go too.
yeah.
They draw so much more out of his character that just you gotta love it.
And then well, even just the stuff that they talk about, like you mentioned, the COVID episode was so good.
Hmm.
Like it was funny, but it was like this is what it means to be human, and like Poppy was like losing her mind, and Ian, which I hate that
Yeah.
that's his name, but that's exactly the point. It's supposed to make you go, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Him braving at that point lockdown to go find her in her apartment, and he's just like, oh my gosh. And
Hmm.
then just like even like with the two testers that are
Yeah.
like openly lesbian and dating each other and fighting against the patriarchy and all this sort of stuff. And there's one point where Poppy gets a Porsche. Have you seen this one? And she can't drive stick, but
Yeah.
neither can Ian, but the tester can.
Yeah.
And so she's in the car driving him back and complaining about how because she's a woman, she never gets the opportunity that men get. And he literally goes, this is it. Like, open your eyes. You're stuck in a car with your boss. This is your opportunity. Take it. And she just goes, and just like freezes. And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's so funny. Not because like they're making commentary on, culture, but doing
Hmm.
so in a way that is both clever and funny, but not disrespectful. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's really well done.
Yeah. No, I don't want to. I don't want to ruin anything that's coming for you because I'm watching the current season right now.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's so good, so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
There's an episode in the current season, season 4, where they do a like a mystery murder party,
Oh God.
and it's it is absolutely incredible, like how they play this whole story out, and you know there's this underlying thing of like who set up the event because nobody knew who set up the event. It's just like they just invited everybody to come here, and they figured that person was going to be the murderer, which I don't really recall if they were or not. But it was so good how they played that out, and then the twist at the end is amazing. So,
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm enjoying that show a lot. I That's one of those shows I think if I get to the end of the season and I want to go back and revisit it, I would totally go back and revisit it from the beginning
Yeah.
because it's such a good show.
Well, and I mean, not to like beat a dead horse, but like it is so funny.
Yeah.
Like I will literally like out loud full on belly laugh
Oh yeah,
at
absolutely.
least 6 or 7 times an episode. And they're like 20 what 30-minute episodes?
Yeah.
Maybe a little. I mean, they're not like hour long short movies. But I'm just constantly cracking up. And it's not even always at like the jokes or whatever. It's just some of like the little things, like a look someone gives, or like just like an awkward silence because someone just said something really stupid and offensive, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, yeah."
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That's definitely a high recommendation for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Danny Putty is the guy's name. The
That plays Brad.
um believe yeah, that plays Brad.
Okay.
Yeah. He is so good at everything he's in. I kind of wondering if I should go back and watch Community again because his character in Community was so different from this.
Oh, really?
But yeah, he played like this kind of emotionally broken like college student that that kind of lived in his own fantasy world and was very, um almost, I don't want to call it OCD in a sense, but it was almost kind of like that kind of broken where he just like things would happen and he would have to retreat, and maybe autistic, but something along those lines. So it was an interesting character for him because so many of his characters are like the character in MythiQuest,
Uh-huh.
but at least the one that he's playing in that new show, which I'm the name is escaping me, but
Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Not, I mean, come on, keyboard. Come on.
what are you looking for?
The name of that show. Going Dutch. There we go.
Going Dutch. That's it. Yep.
Which makes a lot more sense now because when I saw the commercial or the trailers for it, I didn't realize they were in Holland. So
Yeah.
now the name makes sense.
It was like one of the first few episodes. It was like Tulip Festival, and they had a float in Tulip the parade for Tulip Festival or something
Uh,
along those lines, and of course Dennis Leary's character is just throwing a fit, and Danny Putty's character is his assistant. So they're both like very stern military, minded guys, where the rest of the base is just kind of like everybody's on spring break, you know. So
Nice. And Dennis Leary does angry and strict pretty darn well most of his
oh yeah,
career.
the thing of it is that the one thing I do like is that he has tender moments with his daughter in this show,
Gotcha.
and so it's not all like that, but but it always kind of comes back to that. So
Yay,
anyway,
TV.
you ready to talk about what's delighting us today?
I am.
All right. I mean, we've been talking about some things that have been delighting us for a while now, but
True.
all right. Well, let's hit the sounder. All right. What's delighting you today, Cam?
Oh, you ready for this?
The Food Lab. Better home cooking through science. That sounds
And
interesting.
look how thick this thing is.
Yeah.
It
Are you starting a cookbook collection? Is that
No, so it's not just, I mean, like there are recipes and stuff in here, but it really, like when he says better fruit through science, it really is like, so the guy that wrote it is Kenji Lopez Alt. He's he's been around for a while. He used to blog at Serious Eats. He's got a cooking show on YouTube. He's got, this book. Um, but he went to MIT. So like when
okay?
he says better food through science, he's not kidding. Like there's one section in here, he hard boiled 18 eggs and then every 30 seconds took them out and then broke them in half so you could see when you get the perfect hard boiled egg.
Yeah.
And so like it's just he does all these experiments to figure out the right way to brown vet, like it's just literally it's where to put things in your fridge based on the temperature in your fridge and how long, what thrives in the colder parts, what's okay to have in the warmer parts, and like total nerddom.
Okay.
um and
I know somebody that might like that book. She's cleaning the bathroom right now, right across the hallway from me. Which,
yeah,
by the way,
it's
smells of vanilla. I, all of a sudden, I got this scent of vanilla, and I look across the hallway, and my wife's cleaning the bathroom. I can't see it from here, but she's trying to show me what she's using here.
I mean it's like
Oh, so it's your body spray that I'm smelling. Gotcha. All right. Anyway,
save it for after
moving
the
right along.
show, man. uh I mean it's awesome. Yeah, so here's that picture of the eggs, the different
All right.
here, we'll do it like that. All the different, so every 30 seconds you'd pull them out so you can see the progress to figure out how,
Mm-hmm.
you want to do it. And so it's less about teaching recipes, which there are, and it's more about teaching the why things happen the way
Oh,
they
okay.
do. Why do
Interesting.
certain things react to heat one way and other things, or cold one way, and what causes this reaction, and why do these things mix together? And so it's very much learning the why and the how behind good cooking, so that once you have that knowledge, you can go, oh, I want to make this sort of salad. I want these ingredients because I know I'm going to get some fat and some acid, and I can put some salt in there, and if I, like you can get all the things that make a well balanced dish because I understand the reasoning and the technique behind accomplishing that. So there are a bunch of recipes in here, but I would say the point of the book is when you're done to go, I am now equipped with the knowledge to go forth in my own kitchen and do my own experiments and create my own recipes and make delicious food for, me and my family, because I'm not just copying my mom's recipes or my grandma's recipes. Like I actually fundamentally understand what affects this type of food and that type of food, and all of that subsequent knowledge. It's like, it's like learning a language in a way. If you're fluent, you don't think about it, you just do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you're learning a new language, you've got to, and then once you understand the constructs and, the tenses and all, then you can just start literally, pun intended, cooking, right, on your own. Or learning music, right? You got to learn the structure and the reasons behind certain notes sound harmonious and certain ones sound dissonant. And, once you learn the theory and then you can start making your own songs. And if you want something to be dissonant, you can do it because you know why that's going to lead to, a release. So
Yeah.
it's a lot similar to me. I guess music is the better example than language, because I'm not bilingual. Uh, I know a little bit of a lot of languages, but I only speak English. But yeah, I guess the better example would be like it's like learning music, and then once you've learned enough, you can go make your own songs, and that's what this book is like, but for cooking. And it's like it literally probably weighs like 12 pounds. Like this thing is, I
Yeah.
could hurt somebody with this. Um, and I'm only, I don't know, a tenth of the way through, and I'm already on page 113. Yeah, it's like 1,000 pages long, so I'm a little over a tenth. I'm in the egg section.
Yeah.
I might make some eggs Benedict or poach an egg later. Who knows?
Go wild.
Yes.
um, I you were talking about how big that book is, and it reminded me of years ago. I had this little bump on my wrist, and it was getting painful. Are you familiar with what they refer to as a Bible cyst?
No.
So they refer to it as this because you get this little you can get this little cyst that will start in your wrist, and it balloons up and it balloons up and it gets painful. But the solution for it, and the reason they call it a Bible cyst, is if you hold your wrist just so, and then have somebody smack your wrist as hard as you can with the Bible, it'll pop that cyst. That book reminded me of that because
The
it's that
power of
big.
Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
It's a very big
Uh,
book. So
that feels like a home remedy gone wrong. Just take a
yeah,
Bible and whack it. Oh my
and just
gosh.
whack it. Yep, it works. I've done it before. So
Oh my gosh. That's too
anyway,
funny.
all right.
What's that's I'm sorry, that image is now like burned into my head.
Whack.
What's
I've done,
what's
like I said, my wife and I years ago, I got one of them in my wrist, and so I'm like, okay, hon, just whack it as hard as you can, and it worked. It popped it and it went away. So, but and I actually had a doctor recommend doing that. So a doctor told me, yeah, just whack it with a book. So,
all right. Well, what's delighting you, Mitch?
um, I don't know if I've picked Gran Turismo 7 as a I'm talked about it on the show
Hmm.
before, I'm sure. But man, it is just so much fun. I'm having so much fun playing this game. And I've been playing it a lot lately. So I think I've got 58 hours into the game right now, and I'm like 22% progress through the game. So it's been a blast. I've been enjoying it thoroughly. So
Yeah, so when last time we talked about it, you mentioned like you were doing like different licenses and stuff, and I was like,
mhm,
I don't see that in my. And I realized I was like, oh, you've got seven. I've got Gran Turismo Sport, which was the one that came out for PS4 that
mhm,
works on the PS5. Um,
yeah.
and so it's a little different. Like I can't do any online racing, um,
Mhm.
and
I
you don't.
haven't I haven't even dipped into online racing at all
Yeah,
yet.
no. But like, do you get cars for completing like the different cups or different challenges?
So there's a cafe that you visit where they give you a menu. And that menu, this is how the system works. It's actually pretty clever. I really like it. But there's 40 menus that you complete before it pretty much opens up a bunch of other stuff where you get to pick what you want to do and stuff. But from 1 to 40, they'll give you a menu, and maybe this time it's or Nissans that they want you to unlock. So you go and you race, and you get as you win the races, you win cars. And so you finish three of them, and then you go back to the cafe and you turn in that menu, and you learn a little bit about the manufacturers and about the history of the vehicle.
Hmm.
And then it opens up your next menu, which now maybe you're going after maybe Ford vehicles. And so then it opens up that. Somebody decided to join the show.
Yes.
Um, but she likes to lay on the back of my shoulders while I'm in here. So um so now yeah, she's gonna stand up here for a minute and probably try and lay down behind me here. But that's how that menu system works. And that's just one aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And that will get you through your national B and national A licenses. It's open it you eventually you open up all the tracks that are available in the three different regions in the game. Um, you you get to the point where I'm at the point now where I can pick and choose different menus that I want to complete because it opens up like a group of menus at the end. And so now you can go in and you can pick um like your hypercars. I went through the hypercar menu yesterday,
Ooh, fun.
and it does these don't open up cars anymore. But you complete the three races and then you get a bonus. So I think the hypercar races got me a 500,000 credit bonus for completing all three in the top three. There's championships that you can race, so anywhere from I think it's 2 to 5 courses that you have to race and finish in the top three. Um, some of them are really hard
Yeah.
because they'll limit your performance point level on the vehicle that you can drive in it. So you have to tune the car to get it to just that perfect level, and then you got to drive it right. When you're racing. So if you don't drive it right, you're not following the correct lines and such, hitting the acceleration at the right time, different things like that, then you fall behind. So you've got to be able to drive the cars too. So and then you go into the hypercar race and you grab a super Formula One car and race that on there and blow everybody away.
Yeah. So
Which I have one, but
yeah, that sounds minus the menu thing. That sounds a lot
mm-hmm,
more like the Gran Turismo I grew up playing. So Gran
mm-hmm,
Turismo Sport, you have like, like the front the FR challenge, the Clubman's Cup, the mini challenge, the Mustang whatever, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of the similar like race series, but
mm-hmm.
you don't get any cars for winning them.
Oh, okay.
Like you do in the regular Gran Turismos. You just get money and then you get mileage points and then you get experience points and you have to buy all your
Mm-hmm.
vehicles. So there's
Yeah.
no menu system. You just go to the dealership, buy the car that you want for the specific race, and then you use your mileage points to upgrade the cars. So instead of spending cash to like put in to lighten the car or give it more horsepower or change the suspension or give it, change the gear intervals in the transmission, you have to use your mileage points to do
Mm-hmm.
that. So it was different. It's a little different in that regard. And there's no licensing. You just have to you unlock. There's like the beginners level, the amateur level, the amethyst level, and I think the ruby and emerald, and you unlock those, and those are all like leagues that have certain cups and series in them, and you
Yeah.
unlock those by gaining experience points. So at certain levels they unlock. Um, I might have to look at Gran Turismo 7 though, because I kind of like that model better, but probably not worth the money right now.
Well, it's been out for a while, so it's not ridiculously expensive, but I want to say it's right around $49 or something like that for
Oh, so
the
it's
game
not
right now.
70 still.
No. Um, the digital copy is still looking at like $69, but You can probably find it on Amazon for less.
Well, my PS5 doesn't have a disk drive in it.
Oh, well, you can
I,
buy one, but
is it 30 bucks or less? Because otherwise it's not worth it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure mine doesn't have that. Yeah, no, mine does not have the disk drive on it.
Yeah, the disc version is $45 on Amazon right now.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I guess I'll keep playing the sport. What's uh what's the favorite car you have in your garage?
Oh man, I got some cool ones, but I was just trying to figure out how to show them to you. So, um, oh, let me see. What's kind of cool is that they have a new function for taking pictures of your cars in Gran Turismo 7. But then I take like a screenshot of them in the PS5 and it saves them to my catalog. So, see, unfortunately, I don't really have a better way than showing it on my phone right now to you. But this is my latest purchase.
Oh, what is that thing? Looks like a
That's a
death
con
trap.
it's a concept car from Honda based on the old school Formula One cars. Let's see if I have my I've been racing a lot of rally cars lately. I love rally cars. I've done another iteration of the livery on this one, but that's my Hyundai Genesis rally car.
Hyundai Genesis rally car. Nice.
Yeah.
It's my
Let's see if I can.
Buick Regal rally car.
Yeah. It's a cool car though. I like it. Where did all the rest of mine go? Gosh, this let's see. I do have some in my let's see if I've got the ones that I want to show you in my photo app because I took some screenshots from my phone so that I have them saved. I'll look and see if I have them in here or not. Um, no, I think I stopped doing that when I was just saving them into the. Oh, this is from a while ago. Yeah, I don't. Hmm. Yeah, there's some of them in here, but there's none of them that I'm really crazy about. The one that I do like, um, that is kind of a weird one is the Chevy Chaparral. It's a concept car that uses laser propulsion. It so
Wha-
this thing exists. So let me look it up real quick here, and I'll put it on the live stream here.
It
Um,
shoots laser beams to go.
it uses laser propulsion, which
Pew pew pew
is
pew pew
it
pew
doesn't shoot
pew.
lasers out the back. If I'm understanding the technology correctly, it shoots lasers into the engine that then creates thrust. Um,
Or
but
are you sure there's not some laser cats in there doing that instead?
yeah, that's probably what's happening.
Do you, do you remember that SNL skit?
No,
Oh, all right. Well, the internet does for sure. It's called a Chevy Chaparral.
Yeah, let me there's a YouTube video of it here. Let me get it up here. You know what? If I do this, we might get pulled down. So let me not do that. Hold on. There's a gallery here though. So let me share the screen here so you can see it. I would say this is one of my more favorite cars that I all right, can you see it?
Yeah, that is that's the
There's the laser
back.
propulsion engine. Yeah. And I redid the coloring and stuff on it. I went to a like all the white that's on there, I went to a matte black,
Oh
and
man.
all the black that's on there, I went to a like lime green. That's really, really fun looking. But this is one of the more interesting ones to drive because it drives because of the way the propulsion works. You don't stay on the gas pedal all the time because really what you're doing is you're pushing it forward and letting it cruise or letting it coast. So it also burns through the battery faster. So if you're on a like an endurance race, you've got to pit more often with this one, which is doesn't work out very well. But if you don't have to pit, this one can be really entertaining to drive. And this thing is very much like a F1 car that it just sucks right down to the road,
Hmm.
and the driving is very or the steering is very responsive. So it's fun to drive because it drives really odd.
Go back to
But
that last picture real quick, please. It kind of looks like if someone's strapped wheels to a flying squirrel. It's just like that.
so here's the other thing: is how do you think the driver is in sits in this car?
Motorcycle style.
Oh, it is face down with the steering wheel in front and the legs kind of going back around the propulsion engine. You're laying down
So yeah,
inside of there, kind of straddled.
like a
Yeah,
crotch rocket. Yeah,
yeah, hmm
that's got to be comfortable.
yeah. Well, I hope it's comfortable because if you're racing for any amount of time, so that's actually the driver's helmet sticking up in the middle there.
So is this thing real?
It
Like,
exists as a vehicle, as a concept. It is not. I don't know that it's something that they don't race it, but it does exist.
but like it can be
As
driven by a
I
real
believe
human.
so. I believe so. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe it can actually be driven.
Okay then.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty crazy. But that would be one of the more interesting cars that I have. I also have a Lamborghini concept car that I really enjoyed driving. It's another one that's just super fast. I just went through the hypercar. It actually handles a little bit better than some of the fast ones too. But because some of the fast cars are really hard to handle because you can get them going at even that F1 car that I have is just super fast, but it handles a little hard sometimes. It's very, very touchy. But the Lamborghini one that I have is not quite so touchy. So
It was hugged more as a child, is what you're saying.
maybe. But no, I'll have to send you some pictures of some of the cars that I've bought, and there's a few that I went through. There's a I don't know if how many of the Gran Turismo games have this, but you can go in and do a lot of modifications to the look of the vehicle too, so you can design your vehicles.
Hmm.
And I have that creative side of me that just loves to play around with different ideas and and come up with different designs, and I enjoy having fun with that. So I've done quite a bit of that with some of my cars. I've settled into a lot of matte black with different color accents and stuff, which I think is
Hmm.
just looks sharp. Um, I've got a Mustang and a Camaro both that have like the real old school matte black with yellow trim look to it.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's been fun. I've enjoyed that a lot.
Good
Anyway,
stuff.
I didn't anticipate having quite so much to say about that game, but I've been enjoying it quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a good time. You need to get the steering wheel and the pedals next.
I've thought about it. Um, I've gotten this far without it, but yeah. The thing of it is I don't know that I could handle like just putting steering wheel on my desk with a couple of cheap little pedals on the floor. Like I would probably have to build myself something to house everything.
Okay, last Gran
So
Turismo question. When
yeah.
you play, what view do you use?
I'm not sure what they're called.
So like
Um,
the one that I have always played with is you don't see any of the car. You just see the track. Then
that's the
there's the
one I
one,
like. Yeah.
yeah, then there's the
hmm
one where you're in the cockpit and you can see the car kind of around you. And then there's the one
hmm
where it's like uh
Something like a
third person where
third person
you're
view.
like
Yeah.
from like the wing or the trunk and the whole car is in
Yeah.
front of you.
Yeah. There's four views in Gran Turismo 7, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Um, yeah, because there's a one in the cockpit where you can see the steering wheel. Oh, there's one that's like the camera's on the hood, so you can kind of see the front part of the car, but you
Okay.
so it's just kind of just a little bit in front of that. And then there's one that's basically like the camera's on the front of the car and you don't see the
Yeah.
car at all. That's the one that I typically use. Everything feels faster and I feel like I have more control in that view. So
Yeah, that's the one that I've historically played. I've been trying to drive in the cockpit view just because one, I forgot that was even an option. And two, it's like, oh, I can like see like the knobs and stuff. And it's just I don't know. But
mhm.
like I'm so used to the front of the hood view that like I turn left and the car just goes left. Because like I'm
Yeah,
steering from the front of the car essentially. And I found myself in the same race driving the from the cockpit view, always being late on the turn.
yeah.
Because um, but I was like, but I don't know, maybe I could experiment with that, depending on the car, right? Like
The
some car
trouble,
cockpits are boring.
yeah, the trouble with that I've noticed with that view though is that depending on the car, you're higher or lower. And like there's some of those cars that you're almost sitting right on the pavement. So it there's like if you're coming up a hill, you can't see anything coming ahead of you. So it's just like you're just following the line, waiting to be able to get over that hill and be able to see more. Where I
Hmm.
feel like if you were in like the third person view, you could see a lot more. But to me, that's the worst view because you're basically driving a remote control car instead of actually being in the car. So it doesn't feel as nice. But you just freeze up on me, Cam. Did we just? Oh, you froze up on me for a second there.
Yeah, you froze up too.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
'Twas a mutual freezing.
all right. Very good. All right. Well, I think we can wrap up the show. Um, you found us on YouTube, so you know where we're at on YouTube. Go ahead and click the bell. Subscribe, whatever you want to do, and so that you can be alerted whenever we go live. We haven't been super regular, just because of life. So our show maybe needs a little more brand in its diet. But the joke
That's
was
why
there.
I was
Sorry.
giggling, Mitch. I wasn't gonna say anything.
I'm actually I meant to mention this before and I haven't. I'm working on a page that I'm going to make public on Notion that I'm going to point my mitchcraig.online to my URL to later. And this will be kind of a here's where to find me. Here's some stuff that I'm thinking about right now. I basically set up a couple of databases to be able to throw articles at that will just show up in like a gallery view on the front page. And I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to curate all the stuff that's on there, but it'll just be a landing page for me pretty much, so that you guys can check out what I'm doing. I just haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. So right now it's going to my YouTube page, but once I get that to a point where I'm ready to redirect my domain to that, I will do that, and you guys can check it out there. Otherwise, for now, mitchcraig.online goes to YouTube. Cam, where can people find you?
CamBrennan.com, which as of yesterday got a fresh coat of paint and a new blog post. So
All right.
check it out. Severe
Cool.
lack of uppercase letters on purpose.
Nice.
CamBrennan.com.
Tom Brennan, don't call. All right, man. Well, it's been fun.
Indeed.
And I'm going to go ahead and sign off of YouTube. So, all you guys have fun. Have a great week or 3, depending on how long it is before we see you again. So, take her easy. Cam, it's been fun.